because right now they definitely are feeling the pressure.
It wasn't to the same extent of kind of craziness they went to at IEM, but we definitely saw tendencies there of making those mistakes and not repairing them, but making more.
And what's more interesting yet is if they don't switch up their ban strategy from the prior game. It looks like we're getting identical bans on both sides. So the sides have changed for the game. The bans have not. I really wonder if Team Liquid, yep, they take the Hecarim away.
Grabbing that right away. We know Quas can play that quite well. He will take it to the top lane. He had a pretty safe lane as Sion last time. He was down a little bit in the beginning, but he came back strong. So this should be nice and ready for him from the get-go. What will Cloud9 answer with? They know it's going to be a lane that really kind of won't be won, won't be lost if Balls can play it strong. And with the champion he has been using, maybe Maokai, and it will not be.
Trading picks.
Couple of Ice Queens.
Yeah, it's actually interesting here. They switch sides, and that means do they just assume each other's team compositions from the previous game? Lissandra and Sejuani, both things the Team Liquid succeeded on, and even though Gragas is good at face-tanking the Sejuani ultimate, that did not work out last game for them once they started falling behind because Meteos never reached the point of tankiness to do that.
Whoa.
And now will we see some
attack
differentiation.
speed Azir comps.
Yep.
These are something, before Azir got nerfed, these are something that was really on the rise, but we didn't see a whole bunch because the nerfs came in fairly quickly after people started adapting to us. But you can Blood Boil Azir or you can Blood Boil your AD carry. So I'm still curious where they go with Piglet because FeniX will also be a huge force this game. Very interesting start here for Team Liquid with starting off with the Hecarim from the top lane, which is a little bit more volatile, but the Nunu Azir pick, much better, more siege-oriented.
They have played Azir on a couple occasions before the nerfs, and it can be a very good protection strategy if you plan on going with a strong AD carry as well. Strong Azir attack speed as well as strong AD carry attack speed for sustained team fights that can work through some burst.
Ooh.
We have seen Azir come back, after the buffs. He got nerfed a little too hard, then he got buffed back up. Seen him a bit in Asia. We'll see Team Liquid's take on it here.
This might be the real stand.
Very quick.
Speaking of point and click,
this is the point and click.
Cloud9 going with a ton of hard CC, tanks, and then sneaky on Lucian as a damage dealer. This was kind of their bread and butter when Cloud9 made that late season run. Sneaky on Lucian with a bunch of point and click tanks. And Team Liquid is bringing out something new again. When they 3-0'd COG, 3 different team compositions, this is very different from their Game 1 comp.
I also really like that they've shifted Piglet over to the Sivir. Since he doesn't have to be the only damage source this time around, he can be a little bit more utility-oriented on the Sivir. Plus, Sivir is really good against things like point-and-click Lissandra, like the Sejuani ults that are going to be coming through. Sejuani ult is really easy to spell shield.
Yep.
Lissandra ult is a bit more difficult, but it is a telegraphed ability because it's fairly short range, and there is a window between the cast and before the stun hits that he can also spell shield that. So shifting him to a little bit more safe of an AD carry, since FeniX will be shouldering a bit more of that sustained damage burden. These two guys, as we said, very close coaches.
Very close indeed.
I agree with you, though, as far as this being a pretty good pick, Sivir. You would expect maybe a higher damage AD carry, but because of the spell shield against all of the crowd control, and as well as it being kind of an AoE team fight, Sivir fits that bill in multiple ways.
Yep, really nice wave clear as well on both sides. It's going to be interesting once we get to the turrets. Always going to happen. Remember to share your predictions. Tweet LOL Esports, at LOL Esports is the one that we use. And use the hashtag TLWin or hashtag C9Win. We'll check back to see how you're calling this game shortly as we call the game as well. Everybody here in the crowd is ready as they get back from getting some nice popcorn and drinks at the concession stand, because we're ready to get into game 2, and we are on the Rift.
All right. I almost wish that we could jump right to team fights because I'm so excited to see Team Liquid have so much push back.
So what you're saying is Earth mode.
Cloud9 have so much dive, but look at that. They've got Alistar the bodyguard who's knocking somebody back. FeniX is going to knock back maybe the whole team. And Cloud9 are going to do their best to climb over all these obstacles.
Quas gets to knock someone back.
I mean, they have all these knockbacks, and
Nunu gets to slow him down around there.
A lot of zone control. Let's see here, though. First, we're going to start off at level 1.
Woo! Do you flash?
Alistar, no.
Paul flash?
No.
Any combination of flashing and pulverizing? Because that's not too.
He hasn't leveled up a skill quite yet.
They could have easily traded support flash for Maokai flash and maybe even gotten a kill. If Xpecial had decided to do pulverize flash, that would have been very hard for balls to react to. But they get the deep ward. They were just mainly going for lane swap scouting and didn't want to exchange Summoner's Face.
Weighing those two is fairly difficult. It is nice to have the top laner burn their flash if you're going for a 2 versus 1, because then you really threaten the dive. But at the same time, roaming Alistar support with flash is also a strong tool. So, oh no here. Which one would be better? But Team Liquid spotted out by the ward. They'll be seen going bottom, 2 versus 2. Looks like we will see heads-up play most likely.
Yeah, so last game, we did see the early game slightly favor Piglet, and Cloud9 was not putting the AD carry in a position to succeed.
They definitely are this time around. Meteos gives him the smite. He takes the Gromp up for himself, so Meteos is probably not going to go with an early gank. He's going to hard farm it out with a route where he gets a bit lower on health in the jungle and then just goes back to buy. But he got a really, really good advantage for his bottom lane. They get to lane first. Didn't quite see if they got an extra minion worth of experience for getting there first, but Piglet and Xpecial did take those Krugs, so not really that far behind. LemonNation, though, and Sneaky.
Yeah, Cloud9 should still be in position to hit level 2
They should get it first.
Yeah, right.
Will he go for the hook?
He should.
It's going to be onto Xpecial. The passive to come through does not. He gets out of that one safely. Piglet's able to trade back a little bit of damage. We also saw High taking a little bit of pressure in the mid lane from FeniX with his bottom lane. Still great pressure from Lemon as he keeps him out of that farm range. Didn't lose too much as the wave will be getting to the turret for Piglet here. So definitely a different start to the game, at least for Sneaky. He's the one piercing light through the minions here and giving Xpecial and Piglet a hard time.
Yeah, and again, calling back to what it cost Cloud9 to get that early level 2 for the bottom lane, it costs them early jungle pressure because Sejuani is a jungler who can...
Speaking of early jungle
pressure. No, you don't need to go that far to ward it.
This could be a lot of trouble for LemonNation. He's waiting for his hook so he could flash the wall for distance. Could be okay.
Flash Pulverize could come into play now, but does not. Only level 2, he holds. Good pressure from Dominate there to get Lemon in. That's big. Piglet was just getting pushed into his turret. They have a little room to breathe now.
How quickly the tables turn.
Yeah, I feel like if Team Liquid really wanted to go for a kill and be in an aggressive mindset, we would be seeing those flashes from Xpecial. Even just to trade or try and get in front of him to block the Nautilus hook. But the mindset they're in does seem substantially more defensive. They're a little bit worried of Meteos' presence because they didn't have knowledge that he would have done the late early jungle, and they are kind of playing this lane to farm it out.
I feel like Xpecial has always been one of the more defensive supports. No matter what AD carry he's been with, he was with top 4 a very long time, and they were notorious for being extremely defensive. But I feel like a lot of that also came from Xpecial, and he definitely does have that better safe than sorry attitude.
Yeah.
Not quite like the double lift Afro combination where they're both looking for those aggressive plays.
Well, we did hear Xpecial say that hole he had to fill with more shot calling, not as much initiation as he was on Team Solo Mid. So the tendency's still there on the cow, but he definitely plays it for the AD carries.
And Lemon doesn't even have his shield broken, so not much exchange there. But again, what I was about to talk about was the jungle pressure sacrifice. Sejuani is a champion who can go for the 3-minute, 10-odd, 15-odd seconds gank if he wants to. There's a flash. She can go for that if they want to, and it is nice to apply that in the Hecarim versus Maokai lane where Hecarim does not have an escape early, but there was no chance of that because he gave away the Gromp experience to the bottom lane and had to go for the more hard farming route. We'll see if that does cost them top lane because Hecarim, fairly easy start here so far versus Maokai, even CS.
I'm also wondering, I mean, Team Liquid had the deep wards to try and scout the lane swap, yet still ended up in this 2v2, which I do not think is to their advantage. Just theoretically, the Nautilus Lucian against Sivir Alistar.
Trying to even it up here. There's the flash.
There's the flash, though.
That's what they needed, especially that sneaky Lucian as well. He knows how to get out of those sticky situations, and he may still be able to provide a lot of power for the game. A failed attempt by Team Liquid bottom as they go for a second run there.
They also both burned heals. I think the heal was burned for Piglet for the speed boost. So they actually go pretty much draw even on summoners as well. Now Meteos has made his way to the top lane, though. That's the pressure we were looking for. Maokai sets it up.
Level 5s here. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be hitting 6 just yet. Quas bumps Meteos as well on the Arctic Assault, but it looks like they have enough to freeze the horse, cut him down, start producing a little bit of...
Wait a minute! Oh my god, he leveled as the minions were dying around him!
Quas!
And he gets first blood before he goes down.
Whoa, and a dive bottom.
This is Sneaky going down. That was the Ignite that ticks through. That's the one hit as the tick still there. He's forced to flash as well as he drives his anchor into the back of Piglet. Now to high in the mid lane. FeniX with not enough mana to chase and into the dark would be too much of a risk.
Oh, come on, High. Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, everyone fought.
What? Honestly, though, that was such a good play from Quas to go back into the minion line, spamming Q to get level 6. What a heads-up play from Quas.
And Spirit of the Dread damage as well, dealing him.
The entire time. He goes, you know what? I'm out of here. Oh, I'm not getting away.
Yep.
Immediate decision. You can see how quickly he makes that decision. He auto-attacks the minion as well as going for the Q. Boom, instant level 6, level up, and the Ignite gets the counter kill there. Best he could possibly hope for.
And then in the bot lane, they knew they had 2 summoners down, plus they still had Ignite, so they go for the dive. But because of that hook from LemonNation, Piglet takes that 1 extra turret shot, ruining basically what would have been a clean dive. Both supports ended up getting the kill.
Yeah, but because Sneaky's so far ahead in CS at that point, he's the one coming back with a BF sword.
Right.
The drawback is no potions on top of it. He had to stick around a couple extra seconds in Fountain for the last couple scraps of gold, so he won't have sustain. The sustain advantage definitely going to be for Team Liquid, not only with the potions, but also because of the Alistar. Let's see if they can, really take advantage of that within trades, or if Sneaky will actually make use of the extra AD. Right now, though, Team Liquid objective focus. They have the Nunu dominate. Definitely one that likes to stack dragon buffs early on for the team. We'll see if they can keep it up. They do have the timer.
Yeah, and with an Azir on the team, someone who's great at zone control, getting the early dragons, because they can make the threat of more dragons such a huge team fight magnet, is very important for this Team Liquid match.
You see in the top lane, Quas bullying balls pretty well. He's starting to chug his potions and try to get healthy once again. The second tier boots already finished from Quas, so home guards to follow next, and those plays to be made if Team Liquid can keep this up. Looking back at that bottom fight, it was a good thing Sneaky was up in CS to get that BF, because the assist also went to Piglet throughout the kills there. So each lane still staying pretty close in that sense. And we still see Team Liquid confident to make the plays. And Quas doing a damn good job here in the top lane. Balls can't offer too much, trying to go for a little bit of aggressive play and maybe change his mind and say, hey, my jungler's here, but Quas isn't buying it.
He's doing a good job of threading in his auto attacks too. Watching his passive there, as soon as he got it up, threads 1 int for the heal. So comes away very well on that trade, even though Quas is the aggressor. But that's kind of the way that you play top lane Hecarim. Once you get to the point where you are able to purchase home guards, you can go for constant trades and then try and home guard back the lane very quickly.
Right.
Lemon with the aggressive exchanges on his newfound love, Nautilus.
Always and often.
This lane is going in the favor of Cloud9 pretty heavily. It's the swap of what we saw last game. This time Sneaky with the Lucian and Cloud9 with the early game strategy to get him going.
Yeah, I really like the way that they're playing this. Because Sneaky didn't bring potions and he doesn't have sustain to this lane, they have Lemon tanking the damage. So he pops up his shield. He is the one to initiate. Sneaky's able to trade extra damage from the back line, but all of Team Liquid's answer is damage onto Nautilus, which is exactly where Cloud9 want them to focus it. So Sneaky not coming away any worse for wear.
Uh-oh.
Maybe he will.
They know he's alone.
Ooh, they get the summoner heal just because Xpecial closes into combo range. He does have flash available, but once again, the better safe than sorry play here for Xpecial.
So we haven't even talked about that mid lane matchup, Riv.
No.
Hyde not necessarily out CSing FeniX in any meaningful way.
Literally
getting this much farm, I think is a little bit dangerous. A lot of times you'd want to try and do that reliable gank mid lane, Sejuani, as well as the Lissandra trying to lock down, maybe try to kill him through the cleanse, but it's just not been in the cards with the pressure this bottom lane is demanding.
And we also haven't seen the full power of that as well. Looking for the Blood Boil to go on to FeniX later could really make the factor in these fights. So the bottom lane still go a bit aggressive. And mid lane starts to get a little bit of pressure finally from Meteos here. This could be the first attack on a FeniX, but he's also running that cleanse. So it might be hard for them to get him.
Meteos grabs the Raptor buff, goes in for the gank, but
Dun,
FeniX is
dun.
wearing a ward, so...
Yep.
Whoa!
Shifting Sands into depth charge. There's a lot of long-range spells here. That's going to be it. They can't get past the Emperor's Divide, and he keeps it safe. Dominate gets it from the other end. What a beautiful absolute zero. High is going to be stuck in this one as well. Everybody's getting chilled down to the bone in this fight. Meteos back in. Can he do enough as he puts the permafrost down? One last soldier hit. Oh, it's Quas coming through. The teleport home guard is now ready for use.
Yeah.
And used.
All the things that can knock you backwards. How hard is it going to be to initiate on this Team Liquid team? That was a preview of how difficult it's going to be.
Alistar coming behind him. Here comes Xpecial. He still has all summoners as well. Xpecial has level 6 too.
DP Meteos is close as well. Not a lot of mana, but the presence of the bodies is all they need.
Great cancel.
Yeah.
DP cancel.
Teleport started channeling before Xpecial dealt any damage. So Xpecial did not draw any tower aggro there, and they're able to get, even though it was a canceled teleport, bit of the cooldown out.
Just cutting trees down. Nothing big.
Chop, chop, chop.
Oh, gets the flash. Definitely shorter cooldown for Quas. Wins that engagement, and he has been now. Starts to get just a little bit of that gold lead. Starting to press forward and get his wards down. So he'll be safe, and now be very troublesome for Cloud9 to take down.
While the home guard teleport did look a little bit unnecessary to pick up that kill because it was only the last hit, they'd almost rather have the kill onto Quas. We keep talking about how snowbally Hecarim was last game. Never mind. Let's take a look at the zone control here from Team Liquid because...
So the knockback on those soldiers goes a little bit beyond that animation. I thought he'd be getting in beneath the soldiers, basically, but he was still in range for them to push him back right there, which is why he couldn't get through.
Lemon thought he had backup, so he flashed over the soldiers, but he was left on the wrong side of the shifting sands, and really good play there by Team Liquid to pick up a kill off of the overextension from Cloud9.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by Balls' build order right now. It looks like maybe, as Quas is a god with that kill, it looks like maybe Balls is going for the Righteous Glory and Glacial Shroud in his item build because he's sitting on a Mana Crystal as well as having a Catalyst. But against a physical damage dealer this early on in the game, you have to wonder why he wouldn't just start with the Cloth Armor, unless he just accidentally completed the Catalyst when he had enough gold and it just ran out of base with an extra Mana Crystal. It affects that 1v1 matchup. He's not nearly as strong as he could be.
Especially with the kills Quas is picking up. This is going to turn into the Quas. Oh!
No cleanse.
No cleanse indeed. Emperor's Divide still goes out. No, the tomb! No way! Shifting Sands! He gets out! No ignite! He's good to go.
Wow.
Even without cleanse.
FeniX was one of the few players that we were impressed with the early
adopters of Azir.
Early Azir play. And he definitely has not lost his ghost.
No, he's quite at home right there. That was the guaranteed gank. Sejuani ult, Lissandra ult, no cleanse up, easy kill, right? But because he knocked Meteos back into the turret, he lowered the sustained damage. Meteos could not stay on that side of the Emperor's Divide to secure a kill because of the turret threat. And then when he jumped back over, FeniX just played that so perfectly.
Yeah, both ults from FeniX have been really strong.
Well, once again, we see the kills for Cloud9 kind of walking away with slivers of health, just like last time, and maybe they may start going a little too hard for these kills once again, putting themselves in scary spots right now.
It's this bottom difficult to work around that. FeniX, he's continually drawing the line in the sand, and Cloud9 choosing the wrong side to stand on.
Yeah, literally.
All right, Lemon continuing to look aggressive, though.
That bottom lane is really equalized, too. That was a near 20 CS advantage for Sneaky earlier on in the game. Again, Sneaky picks up an early Avarice Blade, and lo and behold, Piglet's gone for damage, and they can start pushing that lane in fairly well.
New Dragon Train right here off screen. They're about to start it up again.
Yep.
They already called Quas down because he doesn't have teleport either, so the Dragon Train continues. 2-2 for Team Liquid. There's number 2.
So Cloud9 really hasn't even looked at this game.
Yeah, and we have to start wondering in Cloud9's head, are they entering desperation mode once again? We need to kind of look at the way these team comps are going to be reacting in the mid lane, because, Kobe, you wanted to jump to those mid-game team fights at the start of the game. Well, right now, Team Liquid is in a a winning position.
They're the ones jumping to the team fights, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be forcing Cloud9 into them at a certain point, and I don't know if Cloud9's ready to do that.
Well, they're starting to lose map control. Whenever you start to see the ward line initially creep up into Cloud9 territory, it's a very good sign for Team Liquid. They've got the workings of the deep wards there, slowly moving them up, a couple on the blue side for the Dragons. They've got the Dragon objective down, top lane turret's already down. Quas just goes and puts a deep ward on the other side. So Team Liquid already starting to take their small advantage, slowly work it in so that they can see where Cloud9 start their next strategic moves and dominate on the Nunu, going to supplement Quas's ward with that Sightstone that he's got.
Yeah.
Goes in for an invade and he'll drop some extra wards. Now they do lose out pressure on bottom because they're going for this play up top with the red steel, and Cloud9 trying to punish them, get some tower damage.
And one of the big differences between last game and this game is how much more reliable Cloud9's pick is. If they do find a catch on some point of the map, they should be able to punish. Because they do need to punish this at some point.
Top lane
this game's
focus,
about
though.
how many catches they can get and how often they can kill FeniX.
Nunu's still up there. They were just counter jungling.
I'm guessing this is going to be fights across the map, gentlemen. As soon as they see this happening up here, we may see something in the bottom lane. Balls back and forth.
Got flashed off,
himself
though.
alive for a little bit longer here. That's good. Will the pressure from Cloud9 be able to take the bottom turret? Maybe some surge in gold for
now,
them.
diving this combo is actually fairly difficult. With the Alistar ultimate and the spell shield, not getting a lot done here. And let's see if they decide to go for it anyway, though. Meteos jumps right in.
They've been here for quite a while. They finally ring the doorbell and enter. Piglet could be going down. He flashes. A point-blank hook chooses the right direction, and they're just going to get Xpecial. Piglet trying to do what he can here. That home guard TP will come in. Quas starts flying through. I don't know if he wants to be there anymore with balls being in the fight. Here comes FeniX from the top side. Tri-brush. He goes after Lemon. He's going to be chased out in that, and everybody's a bit split on their focus. I don't know if they finalize any more kills here.
FeniX wants it. There it
got
is. Doesn't even have to flash on Azir, considering the investment for that dive. Oh, because of the turret, it's real close.
I mean, Hai did shove the lane, but usually we see Hai, the mid laner, getting off the roams. Hai is the one making plays, sacrificing farm.
Yeah.
So Cloud9, maybe they are having a little bit of problems here in the mid lane. Not quite sure. Hai deviating from the normal style. Let's see if he can hold the mid lane in response. Team Liquid looking to answer, but Hai is fine. So Cloud9 will take that turret to equalize a little bit there. Also, I do want to give props to Sneaky. He didn't just run away from Hecarim mindlessly as an AD carry. He got the tag off to take down the home guard bonus, greatly reducing not only the mobility but the damage of that teleport in from Hecarim.
This game is really starting to take off as well. Quas about to hit Trinity Force. I think that's a huge moment for the power spikes of Team Liquid. They're actually hitting item breakpoints at a really opportune time as they continue to force these dragons and basically try and stop Cloud9, who's going to be making substantially more aggressive plays as this progresses. Cloud9 has all the initiation tools. Team Liquid has the disengage and counter initiation tools, and this is shaping up to be a great game.
It really is. Team Liquid are delivering with the strengths that we were looking for them to continue with.
That's true.
Hai making one of his roams.
Quas is in trouble,
though. Answer
three
Quas.
people.
Kind of answering a bit of my question.
Meteos wants to pop an ult as well. They just have so much. I think Quas is probably dead at this point.
Yeah.
He still goes in. He's going to ulti out on that one.
He
missed the ulti.
Not dead.
They still have a lot of crowd control into this turret and a lot of beef to take turret shots. They're going to be able to get out of this one safely.
Yeah.
More turrets down here for Cloud9 as they start to grab a bit of a lead. Still down in gold, though.
It's all about how Team Liquid responds to that. At that point in the game, Quas was a little bit too far up in the turret because the rest of the map did not have pressure, so Cloud9 was free to send 3 up there without being punished.
Bottom wave was pushed by Piglet. It barely reaches the turret, though. Sneaky not going to lose out very much. Now, yeah, one of the strengths I was about to bring up that we were talking about for Team Liquid before this was the ability of FeniX to bring out many different champions and keep Cloud9 guessing.
Yep.
The Urgot, the Vladimir, drawing bans, yet still a huge presence. His Azir,
His Azir is going to be helping to start fights with Xpecial here. And that turret behind them doesn't really allow Cloud9 to go hard even if they wanted to, because Liquid has a place to go safe.
Yeah. And as we have a pause come in, talking to your Azir point, Kobe, it seems like his Azir may be an even larger presence than some of those other things. Up 60 CS to high, as well as having the roam kill.
Plus, he was the recipient of a lot of pressure as well. He dealt with the pressure. Meteos visited mid several times, wasn't able to get anything done. They turned around a gank even.
Yeah.
Just all around, FeniX in playoffs, way better than FeniX regular season.
Yeah.
So
FeniX
one of
in
those
playoffs
guys
equals Scrim FeniX, apparently.
He's really showing up under pressure, which is, you know, not something that you always expect from these guys, you know, moving across regions. He has had experience before, though, so he's not one of the newbies.
Nope. Definitely giving Cloud9 a hard time. Everybody here is from Team Liquid. Quas able to get himself out and just hitting level 6. First blood for himself in the top lane. Every time it seems like Cloud9 tries to do something, it backfires a little bit, and they're not able to kind of push a turret as they usually would, or take something else, or just be Cloud9. Seems difficult for them at this point. High definitely having some trouble in the mid lane there as he goes against FeniX. And how do they consider this if teams that they haven't, or I'm sorry, champions that they haven't played against recently keep coming into these games? Do they stick with their bans, or do they just try their own thing? Does Cloud9 pull out all the stops?
It's going to be something they have to react to as the series progresses. But in this moment, Cloud9 needs to focus on what they do in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we can see in the gold lead right now, High down 1,000 gold. Sneaky up 400 gold, but Ball's also down 1,000 gold. There's a lot of really strong players on Team Liquid right now, and this is a team comp with Piglet in a more supportive role. This is the Sivir who carries by pressing the R button, and then FeniX and Quas end up running in after them. It's not only a different style, but a different priority in game from Team Liquid.
Right. How many kills did Piglet have at this point with the team feeding him those last game? Quite a bit.
Yeah, and if we're looking at damage output as well, for Cloud9, this is a full tank Maokai. This is not the Rod of Ages first Maokai that, you know, does a surprising amount of AoE and can really affect those longer team fights. This is full tank Maokai, along with full tank Sejuani, and they've got a more control-oriented mage in the mid lane. So it puts a lot of pressure on Sneaky to be the consistent damage output for this team. Yes, they do have a lot of lockdown, but it kind of puts more importance on using the lockdown well on someone who's out of position, because you need to make the damage count, and you have to focus your damage when you have a team like this. The target calling is actually really important for the Cloud9 squad.
And who do they target call on? I say it's FeniX at this point, even though they may be tempted to try and lock down Piglet. FeniX is the one that at the moment will do more sustained damage, has more disengage potential. If they could somehow lock down FeniX before he can get off that Azir ultimate,
ult is so big,
then it's a one fight. But if they fail to do that, or if they burn some of that stuff into a spell shield, it all goes out the window.
FeniX is also not building the early Zonias that we sometimes see from Azir players to pull off those plays where he jumps in, so that may give an opening for Cloud9.
Yeah, I need to update right now. The pause is because High and Sneaky have been complaining of lag. They did a client restart, and they tried it again with the new pause. I can only assume that they're still complaining about the same issue, so just to keep everyone updated on what the delay is for.
Absolutely, we'll get that sorted out in just a few for these guys. Having that FeniX pick, as we were just talking about Azir, you brought up the Zhonya's there, and that ultimate, you said if they can get that ultimate before it comes out, or even if it comes out, how do you bait out an Azir ultimate if you can? Because it has literally changed 2 or 3 fights already in this game. You only use that if you're going to die, right? If everybody's on you, so you kind of guaranteed.
The thing is they can't really bait it out because Cloud9 have to commit very hard when
they
catch somebody. Yeah. So it's going to be about can they actually take down the target. But usually when we see the Zhonya's come out from Azir players, it's when they're trying to use their ultimate offensively and they're doing these crazy flash plays and dashing in. That's not how Team Liquid want to use this Azir. Their zone control, their Nunu, and their Azir are for defensive use of that terrain control. So he doesn't have to really worry about diving into the enemy team because they're trying to rebuff the onslaught.
Yeah, this is a strange thing. Just to while we're in this delay because of the High and Sneaky client issues, I want to talk about Zhonya's on Azir only because it's not the same as Zhonya's on a lot of different mages because it's so much about the soldiers trying to auto attack for sustained damage. Azir building a defensive Zhonya's really cuts down on his team fight potential damage. Yes, there is that moment where he can ult backwards for the rest of the team, but it is one of the less optimal mid laners to build Zhonya's on because you cut your damage so immensely. It's almost like an AD carry in a strange sense, building a Zhonya's. When you're there, you're not doing anything. You're not maximizing the damage potential.
Kind of like an AD carry building a Bloodthirster early on instead of Infinity Edge. And
it's overly defensive. That's a apt analogy for the relative power.
You don't get as many style points, but...
yeah.
Well, seeing the change in carries for Team Liquid this time, definitely not putting up the kills for him. Looking at Dominate as well in the jungle, kind of in the past, in history, we heard a lot of things in him changing his style this time, being more vision controlled, being more peel controlled, protect the AD carry. It's been pretty incredible to see these guys with so many changes now now find it is the best time to do it. But yeah, find that organization, find what they need, and come out with these wins. He was very vocal about that being difficult on him in general as a jungler as well. So with the meta changing, he's done very well to keep that strong. And now back on the Nunu.
Time for the tank junglers.
Time for the tank. We heard Saints tweet recently about that Dominate play on Nunu. Oh, look, Dominate's ahead. Just walking there with Nunu and...
yeah. That's a lot what you feel like when you're on Nunu a lot of the times. There are Saint was also complaining about PBE notes because there are booming Nunu nerfs coming. Those two guys, Dominate and Nunu, two of the biggest lovers, or Dominate and Saint Vicious, two of the biggest lovers
of Nunu
in the North American LCS.
Absolutely. Looking back at the go ahead.
If you can get the snowballs down on Sneaky, like this team is already hurting for damage from Cloud9. If you can just sneak a couple snowballs in there, it really does a lot for their team fight.
Yep. All right, so while we work out the issues on the stage, everyone, we are going to send it over to the guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you, Riv. So we have some time to take stock of this game midway through, which is kind of an interesting approach because we can critique how we think maybe the game should move forward from here. So let's set the stage, which is that both teams are kind of taking a similar approach to this game in that Team Liquid putting a lot of focus on their bot lane. Sneaky and Lemon having a better time in the duo, but Dominate putting a lot of focus there. Meteos still choosing to put a lot of focus into the top lane, so not a whole lot of changes there in terms of jungle pressure.
Yeah, which surprised me a little bit because C9 went the opposite way I thought they would go. We're like, okay, they're trying to get balls ahead. Cool, they're going to play something aggressive like a Maokai. And the thing is, Ball's a good Maokai player. It's fine. Like, they like his ability to flank. And the thing is, they're picking Maokai because he's got this single target lockdown. This comp, by the way, is almost identical to the one they played against Liquid in Week 8, where Maokai, that time Vi, Lissandra, Lucian, Nautilus, they're just trying to kill Piglet. And you can see that CC chain does work, so I understand the reason they're picking the champion for the comp. But as far as the interactions of the teams, I'm just still not quite sold. And what this overall does, though, is it puts a lot of pressure on Lucian, on Sneaky, to actually deal the damage now in team fights. Because it feels like that single target lockdown, that single target burst that C9 is going for with this comp, doesn't have a good target. You've got Azonius Azir and you've got Sivir, and you've got Alistar to bodyguard here. And there's so much zone control that like you actually got 2 DPS champions on Liquid that can kind of deal with all this. And then re-engage and actually have DPS.
Right, so their sustained damage actually takes a bit of a hit if they can't burst somebody out with this with the Lissandra, as you mentioned. And then Lucian being a spellcaster ADC that generally has a fair amount of burst coming out at the beginning of a fight. Sejuani being their really sustained damage, and Lissandra, if she has enough cooldown, right?
I mean, Lucian still is pretty good as far as total damage output. Like, I feel like Lucian's like, if Graves is here, Lucian's over here, where like, yes, you have some burst, but like, it's fine to have Lucian be like your carry, AD carry. It's not a Kog'Maw, but it's not crap. But again, I think they need a second damage source somewhere, and it doesn't seem like there's really anyone here on the comp for that.
I want to jump in on the top pick that you mentioned, 4C9 being Maokai, Zion, Maokai into Hecarim. They saw the Hecarim get picked up. You would have thought maybe they'd pick something a little bit more punishing for that 1v1 matchup when someone picks up Hecarim.
Yeah, I mean, he could have even, like, if they wanted to run that tank, they could have went for, like, the Scion, who, you saw Quas do the same thing last game. Even though, like, Ball's got that early advantage, he was still winning lane. He was getting ahead. Like, he got down a lot of CS later on, but he still had that pressure without any jungle help. And this game, again, you saw Team Liquid, Nunu's bottom lane, constantly, like, Sneaky is up 20 CS at, like, 6 minutes, and he's freezing. So if their jungler is there, like, they're going to win the game. Like, Piglet couldn't do anything. And then what happens again is Dom just walks up, and then he just pushes in the lane and blows flash, and then there goes their whole bottom lane advantage. And Team Liquid is playing to their strengths and what they need to win a game, which is getting Piglet ahead and making sure that Sneaky doesn't snowball when he's that far ahead. And you saw like Meteos going top lane, and it's not really paying anything off. Quas just completely outplayed them 1v2, and they didn't get any advantage off pressuring topside with Sejuani. And then mid lane, Azir versus Lissandra, that just isn't a good time for Lissandra. And like you saw C9 going for that like desperate play where Lemon, like 3 people tried to like flash over the wall.
The desperate flash over these.
It was just brutal to watch, and I don't really know like what C9 is trying to go for there with pressuring a Maokai lane when they have that Lucian getting ahead.
Yeah, the allocation of jungle resources by C9 has been very questionable. First it's top, then he goes middle, and all the pressure is completely deflected by FeniX, and then their ultis are on cooldown. They're blowing summoner spells to get him, and he's really, like I said, he's deflecting it. So all the pressure is gone, and it gives away so much because then they know where the jungler is, and then Dom's free to move around the map and do whatever he wants.
All right, I got to interrupt you there because we've got the technical difficulties solved. The team's all ready to head back into the game, so let's send it back over to our casters for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash. And we are ready and raring to see a bit more league action here as we sort out the problem. We are going to get the guys playing through and see if it is sorted. This is a quick test as well, but if they play on, then we play on. They are going to be testing the minion waves. They were saying the lag was with the minions, and that's what we're sorting out. So now 21 minutes into this one, 5-5. Really, as we've been saying, no lead really to either side. Turrets have gone to Team Liquid right now, so if they can get the wards forward, they pressure that, that's where we're going to be bringing it from.
An interesting thing to have to adapt to is these mid-game pauses in the middle of these long series as well.
That's a really good point.
Both these guys pretty experienced in the LCS though, so no major changes. They also don't get to discuss strategy during these long pauses, so immediately Cloud9 trying to get a dragon. This is the fight Team Liquid might want, but Team Liquid does not have the zone control right now, so it's hard for them to initiate.
Dominate has, doesn't go for it.
Great dragon right there by Cloud9.
Let's see what they gave up mid-positioning, though. Can they get back to defend this turret? Cloud9 forced around the outside.
Team Liquid is a zone control team, so they need to find the spot where they can set up shop. But Cloud9 made it all the way around before Team Liquid could pressure that turret. Brilliant rotations there by Cloud9.
See if they have the pressure here for the turret. They do not. Cloud9 with a good amount of wave clear, and they pick up dragon number 3. Something Liquid went all the way to 5 last game without even any contest. So definitely a change of pace here for Cloud9, but still down about 1,000, actually 2,000 gold here as Team Liquid continues to push the waves.
Cloud9 just got away with highway robbery right there. Clean take of the dragon. Liquid had immense vision control all over everything leading up to the dragon as well. But Cloud9 in position first, burn it down, and get back to defend mid. Really crisp play. That's the type of stuff that we're used to seeing from Cloud9. Maybe they're starting to pull it together.
It'll be tough. Team Liquid has been organizing well, but if Cloud9 can layer that CC, get those point and clicks down we were talking about, Liquid will not have a chance to react to these fights. Breakpoints around as we have that Triforce for Quas finished a bit ago. Nothing else on top of that just yet. See the Frozen Heart and the Glacial Shroud was built by Balls and Meteos. Balls finally got that Mana Crystal into something else, and they're starting that cooldown, so these fights hopefully go their way a little bit as they get to their items.
Remember, too, that a lot of the extra gold lead here is coming from turret destruction. Cloud9, if they can find that pick, if they can pile on somebody, get a numbers advantage, blow up Team Liquid, they could chain a lead into a lot of extra gold by taking down another outer turret or two. So there is possibility for sort of a bigger comeback swing for Cloud9 if they can catch somebody out of position. But right now, Ball's just trying to hold on to the bottom lane there. He does have teleport available.
And it becomes very difficult to set up a wave control move. Team Liquid actually initiating onto Cloud9 right now.
They get the teleport out. Xpecial still has ult.
Trying that just out of brute force. He knew the team was behind him, but Cloud9 is able to collapse way faster. The choke point is not allowing Liquid to get over to Xpecial. He goes down, flying into the fight. Hyde throws down the ultimate. He's now the focus. Zanyas is on. The focus is him when he comes out. Quas is able to cut him down as he comes through with the onslaught of shadows. They're still going. Now an sneaky. Quas is gigantic right now with Piglet still on the back line. Meteos in between two. Almost gets Piglet. The true damage burn. He stays alive as he gets some more minions. He steals the house back, and Quas is able to swing it and take the fight for the team as Piglet gets the safety.
What a bloodbath
They get a
right
tower
there.
after that as well.
Yeah, Team Liquid's going to try and push this turret, I think, with the Sivir very low on Piglet.
Going for a blue steal.
Strange start to that fight for sure, with Xpecial basically walking in there and tanking. It gave Cloud9 a lot of opportunity, but because the fight was so extended, eventually that sustained damage of Team Liquid started to pull through. That was a very close to being the Cloud9 fight they needed.
Also, take a look at how tanky Xpecial is coming from a support role. Look at Ball's health bar and Xpecial's health bar. They're basically dropping at the same rate, and Ball's is a solo lane tank.
Hai was doing a great job zoning over the side here. This time he waits a little bit longer with the Lissandra in so he doesn't get knocked off by the Emperor's Divide.
Yeah,
effectively a useless Azir ult in this situation.
That was actually really good play, Lissandra play from Hai.
And we're going again.
Right on to Dominate.
They burned the list. Oh,
Oh, it's the heal! He tried to get the triumphant roar out, but the follow-up is too much coming in from Liquid. They're still going on the fight now. LemonNation's gonna go down. A triple kill. That's the Blood Boil Azir coming through, baby. And they're gonna hit it. Oh, of course Quas has the Blood Boil, but Quadra for FeniX.
So that was a much better Azir ultimate, right? Redo on the fight. Use the Azir ult properly. Huge kill there by FeniX.
Also, literally, Cloud9 used all of their Heart C on Nunu, and they even after that, they had to have their AD carry commit forward to finish off the kill. Because they have no damage besides Sneaky, he hesitated, and they're like, you know what? We already put so much into killing this Nunu. We got to finish him off. So they also throw a Sedge ult and have Sneaky dash forward.
Yeah.
That is everything for a Nunu kill, and they have nothing left.
They think they have the catch. Look, there's only 3 people from Team Liquid here. Sivir and Hecarim are gone. It's close to being a 3v5. This is the power of Azir. The soldiers are indiscriminate of who they're hitting. Full damage, full AoE. The Emperor's Divide crushes them. Then Quas comes in. But this was FeniX in a 3v4 versus 3v5, killing all 4 of them, which is ridiculous. That is the potential of Azir in choke points with zone control.
If this soldier can poke you, it will poke you.
Yeah.
Indiscriminate soldiers.
He will poke all of you.
He'll poke all of you. Yeah, that's right. Very true. Get that line damage going through.
9 kills for Team Liquid in the matter of about 2 minutes.
And 6 of them are on FeniX now, 5 on Quas.
Yeah.
This is the solo lane carry game. It's so nice how Team Liquid are able to pivot. You know, Piglet, you're on the Sivir, a little bit more utility oriented. Don't worry about it. We have 2 ridiculous solo lane carries playing extremely well.
And it's so safe for them to get these pushes in. The Azir turret goes down. They got a partial base outside on the side of C9's map, and it's hard for him to do anything.
And a dragon they can get very easily. Who is this Team Liquid team? Honestly, they had so many struggles in the regular season. They had to play a tiebreaker game to even make it into the playoffs. And then you look at a team like Cloud9. This is somewhat the story of their season, because every other week we say Cloud9 is back because they look great the previous week. And then they go and lose a game they weren't expected to lose beforehand. Well, everyone said Cloud9 was back after they got the number 2 seed.
Grab the number 2 seed real quick.
But are they really? There's been so much inconsistency from Cloud9 this entire split. Yes, they got the number 2 seed, but they looked more vulnerable this split than ever.
Yeah, you can have some questions about Cloud9 this series. You can definitely say that this is the best that Team Liquid have looked all year, though.
By far.
By far.
Good.
Indeed. They don't want that 4th spot. If they were to lose this game, it could be the same 1, 2, 3, 4 we had last year, but it's not the same cursed team. It's Team Liquid, and they're pushing on. They're looking to get a lot more out of this season.
Cloud9 almost has to initiate right here. The Baron buff is still on this Team Liquid team, and they have the zone control. Those Azir soldiers just poke Hai to half health.
Yeah, not much they can do, especially if he puts the soldiers on the turret, does a good amount of damage, so they can just pick these things down immediately. Balls can't even stand tall with the fight. LemonNation gets bounced out for a second, but that could be their engage. There's the Sivir on the hut, and they're going to be going for this fight now. Piglet in the backside, a little bit of control to him, but he is free to run and free to roll over LemonNation here. Meteos now heading for the fountain, and Team Liquid has Cloud9's base to themselves.
Yeah, nobody died there from Team Liquid. The Baron buff is gone, however. It'll be interesting to see if they back away, but boy, they really have control of this game now.
Team Liquid, another victory over Team Tanks inside the base. One inhibitor down. That will be a huge, huge opening. Because Team Liquid, as we've gone over, they can... Uh-oh.
Yeah. Do they even have the damage? Yeah. It's like, yeah, that guy's
you
pretty
know what?
Nah. Oh. Going back to that last fight, though, it was an example of the fears we had about this Cloud9 team composition and the strengths from the Team Liquid team. Unless Cloud9 can close on FeniX, basically, and instantly kill him, they're going to have a bad time. The ultimate, you see how thin the Sejuani ultimate is right there, not getting the stun on anyone. That's a failed initiation. FeniX is still alive. High sells out for him, but the Cloud9 damage was spent on not getting a kill, which means Team Liquid can continue to churn that damage that their team provides and get 2 more kills.
That Azir ultimate proving extremely useful. It's not a lot of times you get to play against walls that are going to path you in different ways or really stop the team from initiating, and it seemed to throw Cloud9 completely off here in them trying to get into their fights and overextending way too much.
What an upset this is, and what a good story for Team Liquid. I mean, they are the last team that snuck into playoffs.
Yep.
They take down CLG in a huge, huge set, just sweeping them, and now they're looking to try and sweep Cloud9. A dominant performance. I don't think anybody predicted a 3-0 in Team Liquid's favor. They're making a strong early case here, but this is still game 2. Gonna try and finish it off here.
Well, one of the teams with the more internal problems than most, but I think now that they've righted them, they're even closer than they were before. Or closer than they could ever be, rather.
Yeah, no Baron buff this time for Team Liquid to try and push down, but they still have the Azir, who makes turrets melt just by placing his spell on him right there. Sivir not the best sieger. Thank goodness they have Azir. Look at High. He is done for before the fight.
Meteos goes for broke. The rest of the team has to follow for this to work, but again, Emperor's Divide is keeping all of Cloud9 from getting to Team Liquid, and they once again surgically remove Cloud9 from the map and move into the base.
And just for good measure, Quas sends a message.
One last bump.
He has to stay in the base. That's going to be the game.
What a great set. The second one coming out here from Team Liquid. They move it to match point in a best-of-5 series against Cloud9. This one just took 32 minutes as opposed to the 40-minute matchup last time. 21-9. Team Liquid move on to game 3, 2 up.
These best-of-5 series are so snowbally. We've seen so many times. The early first game victory giving Team Liquid a lot of confidence, and their clean play backed up in game 2 as well.
Now on a 5-game playoff winning streak.
Yeah.
Their first 2 playoff victories ever over Cloud9, and they're looking stronger game over game. Team Liquid in the COG series, first game was really close, and they improved throughout. First game was closer than this one for sure in this series as well. FeniX's Azir, 9-1-10. Was scary.
Damn.
They're already throwing 2 bans at the guy.
First 2 playoff victories over Cloud9 ever. That was only their 3rd victory of any kind ever against Cloud9. But yes, FeniX, you're banning out the Urgot. Oh my God, this crazy champion that only like Keen and a couple other people play. We don't want to deal with that. The Vladimir, which has been huge in the North American playoffs.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a scrim partner, like one of the scrim sections. Vladimir showed up big for a lot of these, couple of the North American teams that were all practicing against each other and drawing repeated bans here. But FeniX, the champion pool, even goes deeper than this. He's played really well on Zed.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. He plays a lot of things, and he's performed on all of them in playoffs.
Yeah.
It's one thing you can't do to Team Liquid is take their champions. You can take things they play, but they play so much more, and it's not even going to stop them because you can get Quas with that variance as well as FeniX. And now Piglet, not again, but we see him now kind of take a backseat in the game, and they still did amazing.
That was the thing about when Team Liquid had this horrible record with Piglet. The rest of their team were the guys that weren't really performing when Piglet was playing.
This is kind of the first game where Piglet has taken a backseat to the other guys, and the other guys have performed well.
Right.
All the questions and things that Team Liquid needed to prove to the world, they are proving in these playoffs. They can play a variety of styles. They can farm with Piglet. FeniX, hey, he's actually good. That's not something that it looked like during the entire regular season, but he looks amazing so far in these playoffs. It makes the Game 3 strategizing immensely difficult for Cloud9 because they've been beaten with 2 different team comps and different team focuses.
And the FeniX, this is a guy he used to play top lane. He's such a dynamic player.
Yeah.
I feel like he has a lot of depth to him.
Well, we'll see what they can do as we move on to give us some more insight into Team Liquid's 2